Good morning. Good morning. I see someone's coming up. Good morning. I'm so happy to be here with y'all. I had to reheat my coffee. If you came up while nobody was sitting in the chair. So, oh, it's a beautiful day. I'm in the western portion of the United States, and we're having a little snowstorm here. We'll let a couple more people come on, and we're going to get started. We're going to have a great talk this morning. Hey, Colette. Colette Marie, what a pretty name. There's nothing like real life experiences for us to be able to share, and also for us to be able to understand what other people, where they're coming from, what they experience. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share a little bit. Colette. There's a little delay sometimes, so sometimes when you hit the hello or wave, sometimes it's takes a little bit for it to come up. So I just sent out the meeting notice, so it's going to take a little bit for people to get on, but we'll wait for just some more people to come and join us this morning, be part of our coffee group. I am drinking some good old black coffee from Colorado Springs. It's cold here today. It's snowing. For those of you that may not know, I've been out west traveling the state of Colorado on a senior high trip. So it's the last trip before my daughter graduates with her class of 2022. And I decided to come along as a chaperone, and I'm glad I did. And I will explain that here in just a bit. I have been on the road, so I've missed a couple of our lives because we've been traveling, and much of the time we've been way up in the mountains in the Rockies, and sometimes we'd have signal up top, but sometimes the mountains, if you were down in the valleys and traveling through, it would be blocked. So it's blocked some of the time. But it's a beautiful state. So for those of you who live here, and I think we do have some people from Colorado. You live in Michigan. Okay. Oh, wow. Thank God you're okay, Colette. You're in Michigan. Asanaki, is that how you say that? Asanaki, Michigan. I'm probably saying that all wrong. My southern twang's probably really slaughtering that one. Your cousin lives in Colorado. Yeah, I have some friends out here. They don't know I'm here. But the reason I didn't tell anybody, because when you're on like a senior trip and you're on a big bus traveling through, it's not like I can really stop or meet anybody. So I didn't really advertise it that much. But I thought I was going to need them. I thought I was really going to need some of y'all. Some of the things that happened to us basically happened to my daughter. But you know what? I improvised. I figured it out. I made a way. So I wanted to talk today. I wanted to share about my experience, and I want to share it in such a way that it's positive, because it has not been a fun experience. But we go through things like this in life, and we can either become bitter or we can become better. So my goal is to become better. And my goal too, even in doing this group, is for people to be able to join and feel wanted, feel loved, feel a part, feel accepted. Because we're all different. We're all made special. We're all made unique. None of us has the same qualities, the same gifts, the same talents, or the same experiences. And when you formulate any sort of team, any sort of group, even a family, you're made up of very diverse people, and each person has something wonderful to contribute and to make things much more wonderful if we allow that, if we allow it to be that way. And if we look for the good in people, we will find it. I heard a saying, I believe it was Paul Harvey, he said, this is what he wanted to believe, he chose to believe. He said, inside of every bad person is a good person trying to get out. And I remember hearing that and think, oh, I hope you're right about that, because it just seems like some people, there's just not much good in them. Doesn't it feel like that sometimes? But I think that's true. I think there's good in everyone. And I really look for the good, because there's enough bad that manifests all on its own. So let me give you a little background. And please do comment, because today really is more of a social meetup. It's not just for me to sit here and, just talk and talk and talk. And I just want to share what's going on, and please chime in. So, oh, hey, Sean. Well, let me tell you what happened. We had a trip planned. It's a 12-day trip out west, and we have a wonderful itinerary of many things. Hey, Claudia, so good to have you again today. We had a wonderful itinerary. For those of you, I'm in Colorado Springs, which there's Pikes Peak, there's Garden of the Gods, there's Cave of the Winds, there's some miners places, there's the Molly Kathleen mine. There's so much here. It's rich with so much to do. And we've been in the Rockies, we've been to Gunnison, been to Crested Butte, been all over. Estes National Park, which is just phenomenal. I hope that some of you can visit this at some point. Well, what has happened, my daughter has had an extremely difficult year this year. I don't know why it's happened her senior year, but we all go through things where we're excluded, maybe. We go through things where we feel like everybody has their friends or their friend group except us. She had a friend in an earlier grade that was her best friend that all of a sudden just quit hanging with her and started hanging with some other girls. I don't know why, except that I think the other girl just wanted to be accepted. She just wanted to be accepted, to be a part, and to feel like she was special, which we all want to feel that way. So I knew that my daughter had been struggling. I just did not know the depths of it. I didn't realize how bad it was. As a mom, you tell your kids, we've got to finish this year. You can do it. You've only got one more year. You've only got one more month. You've only got one more week. You say this over and over to encourage your child that, we're all going to have tough times. We're all going to feel like maybe we're rejected. And we will be rejected at times. Unfortunately, this is the life that we live. We live in an imperfect world. It's not that it's okay, but it does happen. So I went on the trip, and I tried to be, of course, open-minded. And, hey, Melanie, another Melanie. And I tried to be open-minded, and, of course, as a parent, be kind to everyone, be helpful as I can, make sure that everyone gets their chance at whatever it is that we're doing that day. And I noticed, though, that we would get divided up into rooms, and I would notice, like, my daughter's roommates, how they would behave, like they didn't want to be in there with her. They didn't realize I was watching them, but I could tell. They wanted to be with other girls. They wanted to be with the other cliques. Hey, Mitzi. They wanted to be with the cliques, the popular ones. And there were cliques, really bad. I know that I went through that in high school. I just don't remember it being this bad. I don't think it was. I think this was much more of a cliquish class, and I even had other people comment on it as well. So it wasn't just me, but anyway, I wanted to share this because I want to make sure that we are accepting of others. That's the reason for this share. So anyway, I noticed that she was being excluded, but it wasn't terrible. It's not like she was being picked on. She wasn't being bullied. It was nothing to that extreme. It was just she was not included. It's more like, you know, we talk about the sin of commission where you actually commit a sin, but there's also a sin of omission where you don't do anything. Like you're watching something and you don't do what you know you're supposed to do. And it was kind of like that. Well, it rose to a head one night. We had a cabin that we had rented, and we were many people, in order to get the budget right for everybody, there was many people in the room sharing, and she went missing. We had just gotten there. I couldn't find her, and I began to, almost like any mom, you're out in the wood. We're in the woods in these particular cabins, and began to sort of panic. I went looking for her. I went yelling for her. I went outside. It was dark at this point. I went to each room, and I was asking, is Isabella in here? Is my daughter in here? Is she in this room? They said, no, this room's got such and such, so she's not staying in this room. Till I finally figured out what was going on. There was one bed left, one place to sleep, and it was in the living room on the couch. And that's where her stuff, I found her backpack, I found some of her stuff out there, and I realized what had happened, that they had all basically went and got their room and excluded her. And then finally somebody came to me and said, I found her, she's in the bathroom, she's, you know, we know where she's at. And I went into like the main area where they were getting ready to eat. And as a mother, as any mother, anybody that's got children, or even a good friend, I went from panic to anger when I realized what had happened, that they'd all went and got their rooms together with buddies, and they had excluded her. They had made sure she had nowhere to stay with them. And you know, it hurt. It really hurt me. It really hurt me for her, because I think as a parent, as a mother, I think it hurts more than the child actually hurts. And she was hurting. She was crying. And I couldn't figure out what to do. Here we were in the middle of nowhere. No transportation. No taxis. There was nothing but the big bus that we had come in on. And I didn't know what to do. I just knew I couldn't take this, that this was not right. I really wanted to go off. I wanted to go in that room and I wanted to clean house, as any of you would want it to have done. I wanted to yell. I wanted to cuss. I wanted to tell them off. But something in me, somehow, it must have been God, because I don't think that was me in my natural form. I didn't say anything. I left that particular cabin. I went into our cabin where she was. She finally came out and sat down. I fixed her something to eat, and we began to talk. Hey, Bridget. And we began to talk. She couldn't hardly talk for crying. Hello. Some of you, I'm not sure I'm able to even click on this. It kind of keeps disappearing. I'll wave at you, Bridget. So anyway, we talked, and I had to figure out a plan. And I just thought to myself, this has been going on since summer of last year. And if she wanted to leave, I was going to find us a way out of there. Now, we really were. We were in the woods, up on the mountains. There's no taxis because we were in off-peak season. There was no way to get out. We were in a humongous bus. And I had to wait it out. We had to stay there. We had to stay, and we had to endure until I could find a way out of there. But eventually I did. I had to call around, talk, and I didn't get much assistance, which I'm very disappointed. Even the leaders on this trip did not really assist me. They didn't really, they took it serious, but they don't think they realized just how bad it was. So, thank you, Sean. So, I found we had to go catch a bus, but we couldn't bring our luggage on the bus. I had to get somebody to transport our luggage to the town that we were going to rent a car and get out of. But eventually, that's just what we did. And when I left that property that day, I remember thinking, I just wanted to shake the dust off of my feet and never, ever come back. Never, ever be around any of these brats is really the only thing I know how to put it. Really, I could put it much worse, and you would understand. But that is exactly what we had to endure, and that's what she'd been going through. She'd been going through it all year long, and this was only just a little taste that I got. I found out that one of her classmates had actually built a group me. So if you don't know what a group me, it's just a group where they chat and they communicate. But they had built a group me, And they entitled the group, it was Class of 2022, but no Isabella. That was the name of their group. She accidentally discovered it. She saw it come up on somebody's phone that was across from her, and they had tried to hide it. But this is what she's been going through this year. And it made me so angry. And I thought I wanted to punch that person. I wanted to punch him in the face. Yes, I did. And I'm still very upset about it, and I've cried my tears. But long story short, I did maintain my grace, if you want to call it that. I did not explode, which I wanted to, but I didn't. And we all have been in those situations, or we will be. If you haven't, you will be. But long story short, we called her dad, my husband, and we told him what was going on. Basically, we needed a way out. We came up with a plan, and we exited that trip. So I am now, he had flown out here with us. He is flown out here to be with us. And we, even the very day that she and I were here, before my husband had gotten here, we were just driving, and we had a truck to just drive around. And it felt so freeing, so liberating. After we have gone through, like persecution really is what it is, and you're liberated from that, there's nothing like that feeling of freedom. And that is how I felt. And I thought this morning I was going to come out here and talk to y'all and just kind of share what's going on. But here's the reason. We're all going to go through things. But what we can do is make sure others do not go through this. It is our duty, it is our responsibility to make sure that people feel loved, to make sure that people feel accepted, to make sure that people feel wanted. We can't control what happens to us, but we can control to some degree what we do to others. And if we see someone being mistreated, we can step in and we can stop it. Or at the very least, we can be that ray of sunshine that helps to lighten the mood, because there's a lot of sadness all around us. And it is really one of our purposes. I really feel like being put on this earth, one of our purposes is to make things better. Because this old world just tends towards chaos. It tends towards heartache and disorder. And it takes effort to change that, doesn't it? I think about Mother Teresa, and I'm no Mother Teresa, that's for sure. Because I'm telling you, I was feeling like the devil the other day. But I think about her. Do you know that one of her missions, we think about Mother Teresa, okay, she was a great one, but why was she great? Do you know that one of her greatest missions that she did, she got people off the street that were dying. She went on the street. Now think about this. People were dying. She knew they were dying, and she wanted to give them a respectable death. So she would bring them places where they could at least die in the presence of people who cared about them. Now think about that. That is really the main part of her ministry, was giving people somewhere respectable to pass on. That is what made her so wonderful. And they brought her somewhere to make a speech. I want to say she was in New York. I don't know if it was at the UN, but it was they were honoring her. And when she got to her hotel and she saw just how cush it was, she said, I can't sleep on that bed. I can't stay in there. I'm going to sleep on the floor, because I can't be here when I know people, they don't have food. They're laying on the streets. They're dying on the streets. I can't be in this kind of a nice environment when I know that others are hurting. That was the kind of person she was. And I'm no Mother Teresa, but I can do my part, and so can you. When we see those around us that are hurting, and they're in this group, there are people that put things up in this group. And I want our group not to be one that totally always advertises pain and suffering, because that can be a downer. We should always be going forward. Even if we're going through something, even what I'm going through, what is the good that can come out of this? What is something positive? Well, I believe that for my daughter, she will have a new level of empathy. She is going to be, and I really believe that she was created to do some great things in this world. She is going to be able to understand what it feels like to be mistreated, right? because she's had to endure that all year. She is going to help others to not ever feel like what she's felt like. And I know there are those that are listening right now and that will listen to this video. You've gone through things or you've been mistreated. You know how it feels. Maybe it was a bad marriage. Maybe it was a parent that was mean to you, or an aunt, or a teacher. Or maybe it was some peer that you work with that mistreated you or lied about you, and maybe you had to take the blame, or it was cast on you for something that they did, because believe me, a lot of that stuff, I see it go on. It's funny how that happens when somebody does something or goes through something bad. They project it. The very thing they do, they project on others. That is the weirdest thing, but I see that happen all around me. So we can't change the world, or at least everything, but we can be the light in our little corner, whatever that is, wherever it is. And we can impact those around us. And I believe we're called to do that. I see that, Melanie. Yes, I believe that. I believe that most of the people are in this group are out here because you want to do good. You know, and God gave us snow today and last night. And we decided today, instead of running around trying to do everything here that we could, because there's so many great things to do around us, that we would take a day of rest. I felt like the snow was a fresh start for us. And I'm sorry, I see that somebody said they were bullied. I'm reading your comments. I hate clicks too, Melanie. I'm sorry. You stay at home. Well, you know what? You can be comfortable with yourself, but you still have something to give. So don't stay home too much, because there's something that you're supposed to do. That's why you're still here on this earth. Yeah. I don't think some of them realize just what they've done. I don't think they really care, which is the bad thing. So, but you know what? I can't worry about them, and I am having to constantly say I'm leaving that behind. I'm looking forward. But I know you watch me, y'all see me, and I'm out here doing things, and sometimes we tend to think that this person, that person, the other person, they don't have any problems. They don't have any issues. You know, we all got stuff. We all got our stuff. Doesn't matter your socioeconomic status. Doesn't matter your level of education. Doesn't matter your ethnicity, the color of your skin. None of that matters. We all go through things. You know, we look at people, even like celebrities, and we think they've got it made. They're rich, they got it made, they're popular. You know what? I've noticed that some of the higher suicide rates happens among comedians. I mean, I bet you can all right now name so many people that have committed suicide that are comedians. Why is that? Sometimes it's the people that have the most sensitive hearts. They do some of the greatest things in this world. But the other side, the double side to that sword, is the pain sometimes that you go through to get to that point. So we need to recognize that and be aware of that. I'm reading your comments, y'all. Bear with me. Thank you for commenting. I'm sorry about being bullied. Yeah, that people can smile. Yes, some of the richest people are very lonely. I agree. That's right. You notice something too I want to add? And I just want to say this. I'm sure you're wise enough to realize this, but I try to communicate this to our children. Hey, Teresa Young. My sister-in-law's out here. It's okay, Teresa, and we're okay. I know. I have done enough crying. I've been upset about all this, but definitely do pray for us. She really has been hurting, and it's a terrible feeling to be rejected and for nobody to stick up for you. It's a very bad feeling. And y'all, this is supposed to be a Christian school. And I don't know how else to say it, but it's supposed to be people that were taught differently. It's just like, and there was one young lady that did come forward and really tried to get to be kind, but only one. So, but anyway, We've got to be the change. We've got to be the difference. And my daughter's going to do great things. So are your family. And so are you, each one of you. You have something in you that's unique and special that God put in you that only you can do. So that's what I'm going to focus on. And going through this has been good for me. It's been good for me to be on this side. Let me tell you, when my husband got here, man, we were hugging on him, kissing on him. We were never so glad to see him in our lives because we knew we were okay. We have each other. We have our family. And I hate it for people that don't have family. But if you don't, you make your own family. You find your friends. You find people that can be true, and you can be true too. And just be that change. I know it. I've been trying to pray for them too. I just got to see your comment about your granddaughter. Yes. Kids are very entitled, but I think people, not just kids, I see it in adults too, very entitled. Family isn't blood anymore. Sometimes it's true. And that's true too. But I'm fortunate I do have some good family on both, and I know that some of them, when they're reading this, they're going to be upset. They're going to be fighting mad. But you know what? These things happen, and it doesn't even matter our age. It can still happen to us. So I'm just saying, I want you all that come out here to be included, to be encouraged, that we all encourage each other, that we look for the solution instead of the problem, that the solution for us was when my husband, and I'm telling you, God worked all this out. He was supposed to go on a business trip out of town at the same time. And then when his business trip, it canceled. He decided that he was going to move some of his projects, his construction projects, into that slot. They canceled. And it was like God had he had orchestrated everything so that he would be free. So we're all at home together, and we are going to make the best of it. I am now staying in a very nice hotel. I'm in a hotel room. I don't know if you can see it. I mean, I had a most wonderful bed last night. I have been staying and been very uncomfortable. So this is like a treat. I feel like I've been in some nice places now that we have left that group. But you're right, I do have to pray for them. I have to not be thinking all the mean thoughts that a mother thinks, right? And I've just got to let go of it and move forward and encourage my daughter to do the same. So anyway, I wanted to share that with y'all today and just encourage y'all. I'm so thankful for you. And I want to say, yay, Ammirata, y'all have 1,000. You have 1,000 people on the journey with you. 1,000 people wanting to go the same direction that we're going. So there's a lot of us that want to get our groove back, want to have some adventure. So look around. You've got some like-minded people that want to share this same journey with you. So I love y'all. Do say a little prayer for her. Her name is Isabella, and she's going to be just fine. I know she's strong, so she's going to be fine. I'm going to be fine, and we're gonna be done with this trip on the 25th, and she graduates the 27th. So anyway, I'm going to have 2 kids now. I've gotten through high school, so that feels pretty good. But I love you all. You have a fantastic day. I'll post as I can. And be the light. Be good to somebody today that needs it. Love y'all. Bye-bye.